Sweet. Right, we're back. We've got Flynn Goodger in the hot seat now, and I'm going to ask you questions about building Be Fast. Just our wee YouTube channel here about our progress around Be Fast, our sports nutrition company in New Zealand. So Flynn's a co-owner. So Flynn, tell us a wee bit of your backstory. I mean, what you did preschool and during school, and the character you were throughout.
Yeah, I grew up in Gore down in Southland, went to St. Peter's College. Played mainly team sports throughout school, rugby, cricket, basketball, bit of everything. I went on to Otago Polytech and done a degree or diploma in quantity surveying, so pricing buildings. Done a lot of building in my holidays. School holidays, right throughout school and uni, and then went back to Gore and got a job building for a year with the company I used to work for in the school holidays, and then after about a year on the tools, I went into the office and started pricing, running a few small jobs here and there, and helping out Tom and Shane, my bosses. I've done that for probably 3 years. Then we went over to Australia for a year, me and Katie. So same line of work, quantity surveying, just working for a bit of a different outfit from home. After about a year, earlier this year, we came back to New Zealand, still working from home for the same outfit, which has been good. And yeah, up until then, still in Gore.
Cool. And so obviously you've come back to New Zealand. What's your sort of philosophy around business, or what sort of, like, what's your lifelong ideas around business, and has it changed from when you're starting out from uni and stuff and until now?
Yeah, so definitely back at school, I think it was sort of all my ideas were really just getting a job, getting a degree, getting a good job somewhere, try and make as much money as you can in a job. But in Gore, since it's sort of a small town, there's a lot of business owners. There's lots of builders, farmers, accountants, lots of people sort of doing quite well for themselves, you see around town. So when I finished my degree and moved back to Gore to start working in the office at Ajax, I was working in right side two bosses, so it was really good being with them every day, seeing how the ins and outs of business. They were in shares, the two of them, so yeah, I got sort of blooded into really seeing how a business was run day in, day out, which was quite cool. It gave me an idea of the amount of risk that these business owners take and the payoff that they can get, if they can make it sustainable and have a good business. So my thoughts sort of changed around that time of eventually one day wanting to work for myself, or own something, create something, whatever that may be. It was probably I thought going to be in the construction industry in one way or another.
Yeah, so sounds like I started off like your 9 to 5, sort of lock in, get a job, build the wealth that way, and then the working alongside some key people sort of change your ideas around that business thing. Is there mentors or people that you've looked up to, or from that early stage that sort of keep your brain ticking along? Obviously the people at Ajax and whatnot, but is there other people in the wider atmosphere or whatnot in the business world that you've sort of looked up to or tuned into?
Not so much people I've talked to. There's a few podcasts and stuff I've watched online about personal finance and that sort of business world, which, while I was working, I was sort of always listening to that sort of content. So I think in a way it sort of gave me a sense of it probably broke down a few barriers of business not being a huge step. So when the opportunity came up to join you on Be Fast, it didn't feel like this is, huge step. It felt sort of normal in a way. Those sort of, I already had a fair few ideas about business. So, it felt fairly smooth or not scary, really.
Yeah, so I suppose like what makes it worth the risk in terms of business, like going and starting a business and putting a bit of capital into it? Why would that be worth it rather than maybe the alternative of what mainstream sort of jobs and stuff?
I think really just maybe a bit more freedom or having a bit more of a say in your own life, whether that's income or where you work. Obviously working for yourself, you're accountable for for your own actions and decisions. So I quite like that accountability side of it. Just that idea of not being beholden to someone else, I guess, or a company, and creating something that people get value out of and use, and just a bit of, I guess, freedom in a sense, or that idea of it anyway.
Yeah, nice. So obviously I gave you a few jowls and you went and did a few missions and stuff. What made you think like, this could be, I suppose, a good business, or, what gave you the belief, I guess, and the motivation to be like, let's sort of crank in and let's crack down and make this actually something we can, do?
Yeah, well, I've done a bit of racing and stuff over the last few years and spent quite a bit on sports gels and drinks, and the idea of honey, when you look into it, it's really just as good as a carbohydrate as anything else. It's natural, and there's nothing on the market at the time that matched it. Everything else was sort of synthetic, and when you look at big trends, everyone's going natural, and so it sort of seemed like a bit of an obvious avenue for a business. And it's probably quite uncommon to have a business or an idea that's these days that's sort of new or breaking into something. So, and then I thought we're lucky enough to have a commercial kitchen at home. So the idea of putting honey, mixing it, having different flavors, but those long days out where you want different flavors to keep the palate ticking over, keep the food going down. So the idea that we could create a few new products, something that we wanted to use, that was quite exciting as well. And obviously pretty lucky to have a commercial kitchen at home to be able to do that. So it sort of just all fell into place, and started experimenting.
Yeah. And then so obviously, so that first few months we started cranking into it and stuff. Is there things that from your previous experience with business, or like you in your own work, that you've carried through and has been super useful? And is there things that you found that you're like, I sort of had to learn or sink or swim off moments? Has there been any of those, reflections?
Yeah, I think obviously working with numbers day to day, pricing jobs, I sort of carried that over, and when we started making products and being able to work out all the costs, what all the ingredients, packaging, things like that, and what we could sell it for with margins, that came quite easily, and that was quite enjoyable. Obviously, the big thing was the whole marketing side, the brand. Coming up with content has been very, quite tricky, and something I've never had to do before. So that's been a big learning for me. But yeah, I sort of brought the number side of things across quite well.
Yeah, and I suppose, has there been any major like barriers, or has there been moments where you've sort of second guessed, or has it been like, I suppose, smooth sailing and easy?
No, it hasn't been easy. I probably haven't second guessed things, but you always hope things are going to go better or faster than maybe what you think at the moment. So yeah, I'm always sort of looking ahead and going, how much do we have to be selling to buy this machine, or what does paying someone 20 hours a week, what level do we have to get at to get there, and sort of always looking ahead. And yeah, I guess just trying to bridge that gap has been, or getting my head around bridging that gap has been quite good. Makes you just, take things one step at a time, I guess, and not jump the gun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and like, I suppose if you're looking, or if you're telling someone who's just starting out, what would be one key? I know there's more than just one, but what would be one of the things that you would tell them that would, help them start off their business?
Just try to stack small wins, I think. I feel like BFAST ticks along a lot better when there's just lots of small things going. You're getting a sale, you're reaching out to people, getting feedback, sending samples off to people, uploading a post, just small things ticking over, and that seems to compound down the track, because things take a lot of time to, get going, whether it's getting products on shelves or getting athletes to a sponsorship level. It takes months. So all those small ones in between just keep you motivated.
Yeah, nice. And then when you see yourself in, I suppose, a few years, like in terms of BFAST and how you fit in there, how do you see it working?
Yeah, hopefully I'm not packing gels in 5 years. Otherwise, we'll have to ask some serious questions. But yeah, I think still running the brand, and just getting in front of people, and hopefully it's a bit bigger than it is now, and maybe a bit more sustainable. We can, it was always a cool thought if you could pay yourself to, sort of work on something that you're building, would be quite a good feeling. So yeah, if it was something a bit more sustainable, and we had a good product and good brand, yeah, that'd be the goal.
Yeah, and then I suppose the overview of how we're running the business, is it something that you thought, like, you obviously hear of like Apple and the big tech companies and stuff, and all people pouring heaps of money. Do you see this as a business similar to that, or like how is the businesses that you look at and sort of not copying, but sort of taking from how they're running it? Is there any key ones of those?
Yeah, I think the way we've started is probably more of we haven't thrown a lot of money into it. We've sort of bootstrapped and just slowly grown it with what money we do have, which has been a good way to do it, I think. Like, we're not throwing in a heap of money, and it's forced us to build a good brand, I guess, build a good product, so people come back and buy it, rather than we could go throw a heap of money and make a heap of gels, maybe get it on a heap of shelves, but if it doesn't sell, then it's pointless, really. So just sort of that slow growth, I think. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of companies like that, but that's probably how the way we've sort of attacked it, wasn't it? Just, you know, low capital investment and just really paying with what we have.
Yeah, definitely. It's been definitely the old slow burn to start off with, and then I'll just wrap it up. And like you asked me before, what's one small win that you're proud of?
Seeing people use the product, you know, something that you've made, and then seeing people out there using it, enjoying it, has been really cool. Whether it's a bit of a Instagram share or even getting it on shops, you know, getting it into some local shops on shelves, that's been pretty cool to see. Seeing athletes, you know, that we sponsor use it, get value out of it and do well, which has been really cool. Just seeing, they're definitely when people come back and buy more because they like something you've made, it's a good feeling.
And I guess for you, why would it be super important for a business owner to like and use their own product? Because I bet there's people out there selling stuff that they don't really believe in just because it's trying to make a quick buck. Why do you believe it's important that you stand behind your product?
Yeah, well, firstly, I guess you want to test it and make sure it works. And, you know, with the way we're running the business, we're not making a quick buck. So it's sort of like a long-term vision, and we, you know, I guess we get free gels, so I'm not paying for it, so I may as well enjoy it. But I think it just gives you a lot of motivation knowing that I can race on it. It works well, so I know it's a good product, and that just gives you a bit of belief and, you know, vision for the brand. You know it's a good product, and it's just getting other people to try that and see that as well. So I think it's very important.
No, that's all from questions from me. But is there any last sort of words you want to add in there?
No, not really. It was good. Thanks, Johnny.
No worries. Thanks for jumping on board and giving up your time. I'm sure we'll see more of you and me on this chat. But yeah, for now, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you later.
Cheers.
No worries.